everyone, it's Tani Games here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I thought I would do a video going over every single dream snap I have ever made. Jamie Games has done a similar video. I'll tag them below. You should definitely go check out her video and stuff like that she's done on it. But I thought, okay, well, why don't I do it? What a great way to celebrate a whole year of dream snaps and things like that, and kind of look back on it. I have feelings about some of my results and things like that, but yeah, why don't we just take a look, see how they've developed. For anyone who's kind of new to the channel, you can sort of see my journey through dream snaps and stuff like that. So let's jump over to the Dreamers portal. Now, this is a website that is ran by Mr. Star in Sky, so I'll leave the link down below to that, and also to my own sort of homepage or whatever you call it, so that you can check that out as well. But let's jump over so that we can take a look at every single dream snap I've done. I should specify on my main account because I don't have accounts on there for my new account, unfortunately. I would like to, but since you have to have a Gmail, it's a bit frustrating. So yeah, let's jump over and take a look. Okay, so here we are over on the Dreamers portal. So this is my page. If anyone does want to follow me, like I said, I'll have the link in the description below. It's crazy to have a look on the right hand side and have a look at like how many moonstones I've earned and things like that. I haven't put my results in yet for a few of these, so this will technically be a bit higher, but it is really sort of interesting to see this and sort of see how well I've done and things like that. But let's scroll down to the very bottom, to the very beginning, where it all began with the Dreamlight Ball. Okay, so this is my snap for the Dreamlight Ball. I really like this one. I like it. It had the filter on it, the famous filter that everyone hates, and I personally think it worked for this kind of setup. I'm not overly against like anti this filter. I think this filter can work, but it's very, very situational. It's a bit like the black and white and the sepia tone filters. I think they really need to have a story that follows through. And for this, I kind of wanted to give the idea that it was almost like a dream-like setting, maybe dreaming of going to the ball and things like that. So that was my idea with this snap. I was trying to get like a unique viewpoint and stuff, because I knew a lot of people were doing like straight on shots and things like that, so I really wanted to have something that kind of looked a bit different and unique. I did go with this dress. I felt like it made the most sense. Obviously at the time of the game, I think this was the most appropriate dress. You can see I had the choco croc here leaving little sparkles and stuff like that. Honestly, I should have just put him away. He was not adding. I mean, he did create some cute little sparkles, I guess. I think my big issues with this is, one, I have no idea what this pennant thing. I assume it's a festive pennant. Oh yeah, they're on either side. I remember now. So this was my setup with... Sorry about that. That was really loud. This was my setup with the two figment topiaries, and above them I had the banners kind of thing. I do, looking at it now, do not think this is aesthetic. These lines are not it. I think I used this filter as well to help hide some characters. I think I had some characters off to the side. I think Merlin's behind this lion and things like that. I definitely could improve on this. But yeah, I really, really like this one. I think this one I got 4K. Very first snap. I was super happy with that. Coming up next, we have the Ocean Views one, which again, I did get a 4K on. Now, I really liked this snap. I thought it was really good, really creative. I liked that I did the sitting down pose. I felt like it added a lot to the shot, like it made it seem like I was actually hanging out on the beach. Um, Nowadays, although actually I think this was a decor challenge, so I don't think that mattered too much. Um, but nowadays the fox pose usually isn't very common, I would say, or if it is, it usually doesn't do well. Not all the time, obviously, but sometimes this pose just isn't, like, I see people comment that they don't like the fox pose and stuff. Um, but I did really like this. I wanted this kind of like tropical thing. I do wonder if I'd have been better off doing more beachy kind of vibes, like getting rid of a lot of this foliage and stuff like that. But I really like this. I think it's quite a well lit shot, despite the fact that the sun is in the background and things like that. I do think that color wise it doesn't seem too dark. But yeah, this was my ocean view snap. Next we have earth and air, and I struggled so much with this challenge. We did get another 4K, thankfully. And this was yeah, one of the shorter views, I guess. I guess I didn't use the full wide shot. I think I did eventually adapt into every shot is like the wider kind of viewpoint. I really struggled with this. I wanted to kind of get the nature and grassy vibes in my character, get a lot of, as I said, foliage pieces and stuff, and really try and represent the air with the critters, because I didn't know how else to kind of do it. I felt like it was a really tough challenge. And I didn't like the for the challenge. So this was an outfit challenge, and the tags were like green and brown, which was great for the earth side of things, but not so great for the air side of things. And I was a bit annoyed at the tags. I was like, why green and brown? Why not like brown and blue or green and blue kind of thing? Like, at least then you can balance it. So I went a lot more earthy in tone with the outfit in the end. Yeah, I quite like this snap. I think it's really cute. I mean, it is a narrower shot, and I don't mind those particularly. But yeah, it was all right. It was all right. It's definitely not one of my strongest, I would say. Next up, we have the fire and water challenge, and I actually really like this nap in the end. Looking at it now, there's like a lot of empty space here on the left. But I love this. I like the idea of this meeting of these like witches kind of thing. That was the vibe I was going for. And we've got like a fire persona and a water persona. You know, I added in the aquarium for the water vibes, the candles were for the fire. So it was kind of like a very good mix. And this was probably the first time that I really started experimenting with getting higher tags. So if you look behind this bookcase here, you can actually see the outline of the Moana tapestry. I don't think you can see it on these ones, but I actually hid artwork, I think, behind this aquarium. There was artwork hidden behind this one, I think. At least behind the counters, I know there was definitely artwork hidden. So yeah, I really tried to increase the tag count on this one, and I think it did pay off. You know, I got a 4K, so that was good. Next up, we have the Rainbows Challenge, and I was actually really proud of this shot. So this is my rainbow submission. I do admit maybe I needed to go a bit more heavier with some of the rainbow colors. I wanted to set it up like a theme park though. So we had the Ferris wheel, we had the up balloon, and I felt like the balloons really added to that. We've got some colour from Woody's carousel, and then I tried to do a rainbow line with the flowers, and I think if I'd have done a bit more with the flowers, like maybe if I'd put the up balloon to the left here, like in the background, and then had a focus walkway with the rainbow flowers, it would have been more clearer, sort of the aesthetic and vibes that I was trying to achieve. And then here we've got the Mickey Cloud. This, I think, was the start of my love for the Mickey Cloud. I think this is so perfectly sort of framed. It's there, it's a large one, you know. Yeah, I really like this. And then I posed with the Choco Croc, 'cause obviously the Choco Croc had the rainbow colours. And then the idea with my outfit was that I really wanted to showcase pride with my rainbow. So that was kind of the vibe that I was leaning into aesthetically for the outfit. So we've got sort of like the pinker purpley tones on top, and then we've got the blue tones at the bottom to match the by flag. So yeah, that was kind of like what I was trying to achieve aesthetically with this image, and I think it did come across all right. Um, yeah, I was really happy with this one. I was really proud. It's still one of my favorites. I definitely see ways that I could improve this, but for like early days of Dreamsnaps and getting used to the techniques, I think this was a really good submission. Next up, we have the Dreamers Unite challenge, which again I got 4K on. And I was so happy to get 4K on this. Looking at this now, this would never get 4K. Not in a million years would this get 4K. But back then it did. Back then it did. This I actually did kind of in a rush. I think this was around the time that I had a holiday. And so I had to do this one in a rush and the one after in a rush, because they were sort of like that crossover period of days. Like, I think I did this on the Wednesday and submitted it, and then I think when I came back for the next one I had to do it on like the Tuesday or the Wednesday. It was really rushed. But yeah, like I went with this because the Forgotten Lands at that time was my absolute favorite biome. I had done my horror in the Forgotten Lands build, which you can see some of the elements of in the background here. Which was basically a street with nods to different horror films. That video is still on my channel if any of you are horror fans and want to check it out. The touch of magic skills in that video are terrible. They are terrible, but it was a fun build and it was really nice to bring one of my passions to another one of my passions. Like, horror films are such a big love for me along with Disney films, so kind of merging them was just really exciting. So that's why I went with the Forgotten Lands specifically. I know a lot of people in Dreamers Unite I think went with brighter shots, but like the Forgotten Lands to me was the place. It was my happy space. It was unique to me. And certainly the horror in the Forgotten Lands build was very unique to me as well. Like, adding those horror elements into the game kind of like wasn't being done. It wasn't like a trend. I don't think it's a trend anyway, amongst a lot of people who play this game, because not a lot of people, I guess, have that. Well, some people will have that crossover, but not everyone will. So yeah, that's what I kind of wanted to showcase. This was my love of the Forgotten Lands, my love of horror, you know, my love of the spooky kind of vibes and everything like that. That was what I kind of wanted to achieve and go for with my dream snap. Um like I said, with the second Dreamers Unite challenge, I absolutely changed it around. It's very, very different. But I was happy with this. In some ways I love this because it does feel sort of very me, and it was who I was at that point in time. It was definitely sort of the headspace that I was in and everything like that. So I really did like this, but I don't think I would submit anything like this nowadays. Nowadays it would be completely different. Very, very different. Next up, we have the Forget Me Not challenge, which again got 4K. So this was the other one that I did in a rush. Like I said, I think I was up against the timer for this. I really wanted to lean into themes of the forgotten, and I really wanted to sort of almost draw that parallel, which is why I focused on getting my shot done with the forgotten kind of like close together. like the forgotten is always behind me kind of thing. Like that was kind of the story that I was trying to tell. And obviously I love this castle. I think this castle's amazing. It's so well constructed and stuff like that. I love the vibes and everything. So um naturally I did want to do a shot in a place like this. Obviously this is in a realm which nowadays I would not do, but at the time I felt like it seemed like the obvious thing to do. I couldn't imagine doing a dream snap for this challenge sort of anywhere else. I would certainly give it a go to replicate it in the valley if this challenge came up again. But I think at the time I was like, this is it. This is the only way to do this challenge. And it worked, it paid off, it did well. And yeah, I really liked this snap. I thought it was really good. Next up, we have Dreamy Kitchen, which was one that I kind of struggled with. I remember asking for feedback on it in the Discord because I was really unsure. If I pull it up full screen, oh, I clicked wrong there. But here we go. This is my full screen Dreamy Kitchen. So my main worry about this was the fact that the kitchen was in the background. But to me, this felt very like I want to say typical of almost like a British home in a sense. Like, not necessarily with the decor choices and stuff like that, but very often you'll get open plan like kitchen dining spaces in the UK. Or at least they'll have a dining room adjacent to the kitchen. That's the way it's been for me growing up, is that our kitchens were always next door to the dining room or would kind of like flow through into one. Like the last house that I lived in, the wall was actually knocked down between the kitchen and the dining room to kind of extend it. Um, so that was kind of what I wanted to do with my build, was to add a dining room, because it just felt like that was what I would expect from a lot of kitchens, is to have like a kitchen diner. Um but I was worried that it was like so far off in the background. I wanted to make it look like I was actually doing stuff in the kitchen, which is why my characters turned towards the oven. Nowadays, I wouldn't do that. I think that would be too risky in a dream snap these days, like so far off and things like that. I don't think this would do as strongly. Um, but I could see ways I could improve it using a similar sort of setup. I do like the room overall. I think it's quite cute. I did rebuild something very similar to this, which is my permanent kind of like kitchen storage room. So I definitely love the vibes of this, that I obviously kept it as like a permanent build effectively. So yeah, that's my dreamy kitchen. Next up, we have the Dapper Delights challenge. Again, I got 4K on this one. I need to stop pressing that button. But yeah, this was my Dapper Delights submission. I was sort of playing with filters at this point. So that's why the colours are slightly different. I wanted to kind of give it the idea that it was a lady going for a stroll in the park kind of thing. Like that was the vibes that I wanted to achieve, if that makes sense. And I think it came across okay. I wanted a bit more of a cinematic shot, which is why we have the bars. It'll just look like a black screen to you, but yeah, there's like two bars, one at the top and one at the bottom. I wanted this filter because I wanted it to have like a different feel. I didn't want it to feel modern. I wanted it to feel a bit vintagey without relying on the black and white or sepia tone. So that's why I went for this filter, which does change the colours a little bit. Some of the colours are a bit softer, some of them are a bit brighter. But yeah, I just thought it sort of created a nice little vibe for it. I did try and get more characters in the shot. Now this was obviously before the days of knowing how to trap villagers and stuff like that. So it didn't work, and I just ended up with aerial. But this was kind of before I was fully doing builds for Dreamsnaps, and I was using areas that were sort of pre-built in my valley. So I think I did have this park sort of pre-established. I might have done some changes to the decor, like I put the trees down here in the background just to hide off some of the what do you call this? Meadow. I forgot what it was called then. The meadow. Like you can see this bit on the right. This was my car park for the Monsters Inc. house, and then I quickly threw in like a little gazebo and a bench. Took out the cars and stuff like that. So I was pretty much taking builds that I had in my valley, unless it was something that was like I hadn't done before, like with the Dreamy Kitchen. I didn't have a kitchen set up. I was really trying to utilize builds around my valley and just add on to them. That was sort of what I was trying to do with a lot of my dream snaps. But yeah, this is cute. I don't think it's 4K worthy these days. Again, not kind of a shot I would go for, but at that time, I guess it did well. Next up, we have the Critter Love Challenge. This was another 4K, and I really like this. I don't think it would do well. There's lots of ways I would do this differently. Again, you can sort of see, if you remember my, what do you call it, challenge? The Dreamers Unite, you can sort of see my pre-build, like the fencing and the castle and stuff like that. The only new additions really were the Nightmare Before Christmas items, and obviously all the critters and stuff like that. But yeah, this was basically my build. I wanted to do like a Jack Skeleton vibe with the Zero Fox. The Zero Fox was like a new companion at the time, but it absolutely is so cute. Honestly, the Zero Fox companion is still up there with some of my like favorite companions. Maybe I should do like a companion tier list. If you want me to do that, leave a comment down below. Let me know if that's something you'd be interested in seeing. But looking at this now, this is way too dark of a shot to work successfully in like dream snap challenges these days. I would have to brighten this up loads. The decor is kind of not working. It does make sense, but it's just not a fully realized build. So yeah, I did like this one, but definitely wouldn't get 4K as Dream Snaps is nowadays. Next up, we have the Fun with Ball submission, and this is when I lost my 4K streak, and I was devastated. So I got 1500 for this one. So this was meant to be like my full market kind of vibes. Looking at it now, objectively speaking, I can see where it went wrong. I can see why it didn't perform as well as it did. I think there's a lot of changes I could make to this to make this better. In fact, I kind of think I proved that with the like Dream Snaps Market Challenge or whatever it was called, because that was effectively another version of this. They're like the same sort of image, even though they're for different challenges. There were similar vibes. Yeah, I really wanted to do a full farmers market. I just think some of it didn't come across as well. Like maybe the angling, maybe some of the item choices, and their positions kind of thing. Possibly the lighting is a bit too dark. I love the sky. I think the sky is gorgeous. I have no notes on the sky. The sky is perfect. I might have changed the little orchard that I had here. Again, you can sort of see how I was just adding on to builds that I already had in my valley. So this was my orchard, and I just plonked a bunch of items down in front of it. So I can see why this didn't get 4K. Like I said, I think I know ways to elevate it. We had a very similar challenge with the market challenge, whatever that was called. And I think, you know, with my results with that, I proved I could do this idea. But I just think at the time, I kind of wasn't at that 4K level with this shot. So yeah, this was my fun with fall challenge. Next up, we have Frightfully Festive. Now, this is my lowest score to date, and it absolutely breaks my heart. So I was obsessed with this snap. I was really gutted as well because when it came to voting for Frightfully Festive, I felt like so many people missed the mark. Frightfully Festive was meant to be a Nightmare Before Christmas inspired snap, and I was just coming across tons of snaps that weren't Nightmare Before Christmas inspired. So I was absolutely gutted. I was devastated, and especially like seeing people's results for the Frightfully Festive. I was seeing a lot of 4K winners that had snaps that had nothing to do with Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was like, what? I was like, excuse me, excuse me. What do you mean? What do you mean? I was crushed, and I still to this day am kind of crushed about it. I felt mine was very fitting. It was very Nightmare Before Christmas inspired. I felt it had a lot of the vibes of the movie. The movie itself, in Christmas Town is quite dark, which is what I wanted to achieve, was kind of like that darker, sad, moodier tone. Like I was really inspired by the scene where Sally sings her song, and that was kind of the vibe that I wanted to give across. So we have all the Christmas stuff set up. We've got all the Halloween stuff. So I felt like we had that perfect mix. But it just didn't perform. It didn't perform. I definitely think there's ways I could brighten up this shot and clean up this shot. I'm going to say it. I'm hoping that my major loss on this one was down to tags. Now, I don't know what to think of tags after the Dreamlight Gallery challenge. I'm absolutely, completely like, what the heck? You know, all my theories about, you know, picking the items with like the most tags and achieving the highest tags seems to have fallen under the bus that week. Completely quashed my thoughts on that. Um, but yeah, like I just feel that this deserved better. I will always say that this deserved better, and it definitely is one of my favorite dream snaps I've done in terms of like faithfulness to the challenge. Um but it just didn't perform, and that's okay. It happens, and you know, you live and learn, you move on. So yeah, that was my frightfully festive heartbreak. And next up we have Swashbuckle and Swagger, and this one got me back to 4K. This one did it. And actually, I adore this snap. I think this snap is so good. I was waiting to get a Mickey Cloud, and for some reason, the Mickey Cloud wasn't like showing correctly. It was like, as soon as it came to this level, it was like it shrunk or like grew too big. Yeah, I think it grew too big, so you couldn't discern that it was a Mickey Cloud, and it drove me. Oh, I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated. And then I was taking the snaps and this fog rolled in, and I just loved the ambience of the fog. I thought it was so, so good. And I really focused on the makeup here. You won't have seen it in the last snap, but I did do a full face of makeup as Sally to get the blue colours and stuff like that. And the bright red lips and stuff, but you don't see it because she's facing the other way. But yeah, so I really wanted to work on my makeup with this snap as well. I absolutely love it. I think my character's never looked like so good. She looks incredible here. I love how the boat looks in the kind of foggy water. We've got all the like treasure troves and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I think this turned out really well. It definitely achieved what I wanted it to, and I think 4K was a great result. Next up, we have my Bedroom Beauty Challenge, which did get 4K as well. I like this one. I like the vibes that I did with it. I was very inspired by like Wednesday at the time, because like that show hadn't long been out and stuff. And so I wanted to kind of replicate that vibe, but just in like a Disney world. So we've got the darker room setting, then we've got the bright pink, colourful setting. So we've got that kind of like contrast and opposing sides. And I used the two round mirrors as like feature points kind of thing. And I think this turned out really good. I was really happy with how this turned out in the end. There's definitely improvements I think I could make. I think a zoomed in shot, like slightly more zoomed in, would work better than this kind of like slightly zoomed out shot, because you see here on the left bottom we've got a lot of empty space, and that just needs something in it. It needs items, it needs decor. I think the principle behind this idea is good. I just think there's ways you could kind of execute this slightly better. But I do love this snap. I'm very happy with it. Not sure this would be 4K worthy these days. But certainly I think it did really well at the time. Coming back from that, we have Trick or Treat, which this one got me 2,500 moonstones. And I was actually really gutted with this one because I really like this. I felt it really hit that kind of like trick or treat theme, like with all the candy buckets, things like that. I felt like my character was dressed for Halloween. We've got Donald, we've got Stitch, we've got like even the Zero Fox. I don't know if it was the lighting on this one, but I really wanted that nighttime kind of glow. But yeah, I don't know if it was that kind of drew it back, or what it was exactly, whether it's just that little bit too dark and gloomy. Possibly is. I probably could have done with doing a different time of day slightly. I mean, it was really hard because it wasn't quite nighttime. It was sort of like that borderline transition. But it had that darkness, and I think that's maybe what held it back. I don't know. Maybe it just needed to be a brighter shot overall, but like for me, I was thinking Halloween, trick or treating, it's always nighttime, it's always dark, and I just think those darker shots tend to suffer a lot when it comes to dream snaps, unless you've got some visual brightness to the shot, and I just think this one didn't have it. So as much as I love this sadly did lose my 4K streak, but 2,500 I am very happy with. I still think that's a cracking result. So yeah, not too bad. Then we have my Something Wicked challenge, and I was actually really gutted about this one. So this one only got 1,500. I think it deserved way better, and this was a week that I was a bit shocked because I felt like I had pretty high tags. This was a week where I had tags in like the 40s to the 50s, or something similar to that. And I was like, oh yeah, I've got super high tags. And nowadays I would laugh if someone said 40 to 50 was high tags. Like all my recent submissions have been like in the hundreds, like excluding clothing things. But this is kind of the point where I started to question a little bit about dream snaps and stuff. I thought this was a fantastic submission. I thought it was really well conceived and thought out. I thought the decor was great. I thought it had an eye-catching foreground, and to not get 4K on this one, I was just very surprised. I'm still under the impression that this rarity factor thing, whatever that is, I think plays a massive part with the tags, because as I said in that video when I was discussing it, like a lot of the winners of this week tended to have, or like the high scores tended to lean into the Ursula items. So although I felt like this was a reasonable amount of tags, I felt like it wasn't the right items for the tags kind of thing, which is why I almost thought that probably Senpai's Theory had a lot of weight, because like when I say high tags, I would usually like select the ones at the very top of the list. Obviously back in the olden days we didn't have that list, so what I would do is I would type in every single tag and then select the items that had all of them, and then crop out a tag and get all those and so forth. Like that was how I did it back in the day when you had to kind of manually select tags. So that's kind of why I thought that theory had a lot of like weight to it, because I was like, well, that's how I always did my high tags anyway, and that's how I assumed everyone else did high tags, was using that same method. But like I said, I've got no idea these days. I really have no idea. I enjoyed having a male avatar character. I think it was fun to do. But yeah, I was certainly very gutted with the results on this. Now, next up, we have my Wally's Garden challenge, and this is my highest rank to date. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This obviously did well. People obviously liked it. I did not. I did not. I don't like this snap. I really don't. It's not my worst snap. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not the worst snap I've done, but there's a lot about it that I don't like. The colors just bleed into one, I think. I hate the outfit. I cannot stand the outfit. I really can't. I don't like the outfit at all. Um, I had to hide a bunch of my plaza here, and that really annoyed me. I hated the backdrop. I hate the clutter of Wally's, what do you call it? His little garden here. Because this was actually utilising his garden, which I had set up with just pumpkins and peppers. But I didn't like it. I didn't like clutter in the front with these flowers. I just felt like it looked messy. I think that's my thing, is that I felt like it was messy, but people obviously liked it. It got to rank 8, which is my highest rank today. I haven't got near that since, which is absolutely gutting. And this definitely isn't one of my favourite snaps. And it's really heartbreaking because it's a Wally snap. And I love Wally. Wally is absolutely one of my favourites. I can't understand why this ranked as high as it did. This week I did try to max my tags fully with my clothing. Now, the only downside for sort of some of the tags is that obviously I've got a long sleeve jumper, so I don't have a bracelet. I do have the 2 necklaces. I've got the hat. Now, I don't know about the hair. I don't know if at this point I knew that hair counted or not. So I'm not entirely sure if my hair hit the tags or not. But I don't think I've got short trousers on underneath this skirt. I think I've got shorts. I definitely have the socks and the boots. But yeah, I don't have a bracelet on for sure. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about this that I feel I could do way better. But I have a feeling if I tried to do way better, it just wouldn't score as high. This will always be my mystery snap. I honestly don't understand it. Like I said, it's not the worst snap I've done, and certainly looking back at some of my older snaps, I can see why they struggled. But this one I don't think deserves a rank 8 spot. I really don't think it does, because I just think it's so messy. But yeah. Next up, we come to Camp Dreamlight and another 4K, and I did kind of like this shot. I thought it was really good. I feel like it's a bright nighttime shot, which I really like. I don't think it feels dark, which I think I owe mostly to the filter. I did like this. My first time experimenting with hiding tags behind like larger items, like behind the RVs, a bunch of items. I tried to put some items behind this. And through the bushes, I hid so many things through the bushes. You can sort of see a little bit around here and stuff. But yeah, this was meant to be my campsite. I wanted to make it look like I was checking out the night sky. We've got the little raccoon here. We've got another one here. We've got another one here. I did have another one, but sadly that sort of left the shot before I could capture it. I absolutely love this snap. I don't think it would stand out as well these days. I think my character's too far away. And although your character isn't always important in every dream snap, I do think like it would work better maybe in a different angle, positioning and things like that. So yeah, I quite like this submission. I think, yeah, this is a good one. Next up, we have House of Mouse. Now, this one, I definitely was utilising hair for the tags. That's why I have this hairstyle. Yeah, again, trying to maximize tags, you know. I had the rings, I had the bracelet, I had the jacket, I had the necklace items and stuff like that. Like, I tried to stick very much to the theme. I think it's a good House of Mouse snap. It's not perfect. I definitely think, like, this could have some work and stuff like that. We've got Minnie and Mickey. Knowing what I know now about trapping characters, I think I could do this way better. With this snap, I was actually hanging out with Mickey, and Minnie was just kind of like free roaming. But now I know how to sort of trap villagers. I could definitely do this one a bit better. But yeah, I didn't mind this one. You know, it featured their homes, it featured Mickey and Minnie, it featured a lot of Mickey items. This was a build from scratch. Like, this wasn't something I had set up in my valley. But yeah, I was pretty happy with this, I guess, for something that, you know, I really didn't like this theme. I wasn't a fan of it at all. But I felt like I kind of did this all right for something that I didn't enjoy. Next up, we have our second Dreamers Unite challenge. So this was the first time they repeated a challenge. And honestly, I love this snap. I honestly feel like I could have replicated this snap for the magical week and it would have done well. I think this would have done really well for the magical week and I think it would have scored high. I really like this snap. I love it. I love the colours and stuff like that. I definitely think I could do a little bit more in terms of decor. But I like this. This was my fairy core glade. I can't wait to get my fairy core glade back. It was a pretty build. Let's just say that it was a pretty build. It made me kind of like the glade. I don't really like the glade much. It's probably my least favorite biome. And this kind of made me like it, and I love this backdrop. I love the decor and things like that. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, I really enjoyed this snap. I think this is a great little submission. It's definitely one of my favorites. It brings me so much joy. Um, yeah, I kind of almost wish I had replicated something like this now. I really like this image. It just makes me happy. This is definitely up there with like my favorite images. And then next we have the Jean Dreams Snap, and I hated this challenge. I hated it so much. Okay, so I had a vision. My vision was to do like a catwalk, and I wanted to do a denim based catwalk. And I think you can see that, but I think I tried to mix it in with like a wintry theme, and I think that's where it kind of loses it. I think it kind of loses a lot of appeal in that sense. I think I'm kind of lucky that my tags were high with this. Not the highest because I don't have a skirt on, but I have got the bracelet, the ring, the short jacket, the top and stuff like that. So in terms of like, I guess clothing and stuff like that, I've done quite a bit for getting the tags in and everything like that. But yeah, this is probably, this could even be my least favourite snap. I wasn't a fan of it, which is a shame because I really thought I would love it because of the blue. I think what annoyed me was the tags. I think that's what annoyed me. And I don't think I did a very good job working with the tags that I had. Yeah, I was just a little bit... Yeah, I wasn't in love with this. Let's just say that. Coming up next, we have the Under the Sea challenge, which is a 4K. I love this snap. I really do. I adore this. I think it's so pretty. I really wanted to create a under the water vibe kind of feel with my snap. I wanted it to make it feel like we were under the water. We were at Atlantis. So I made sure it was night because I wanted that kind of blue backdrop. We did get a Mickey Cloud, which I thought was cute. Obviously, we all know the Mickey Cloud is an icon on this channel. I made my character look like Ariel because I felt like that was the iconic move. The one thing I didn't like was the background. So obviously I wanted all the foliage I used to kind of look like under the water foliage, but I also had to use a lot of like palm trees and stuff and decor to hide the items. Like back here is a ton of items. This was, I think, when Junk Island became a thing. I think that was this snap. I think it was this one that Junk Island became kind of iconic for, because that was when I was placing down a ton of items on this. I think my channel was kind of growing a bit more at this point. And so yeah. Oh god, I zoomed in. I didn't know you could do that. Okay, yeah, you can see all those items there in the background. But yeah, I absolutely love this snap. I think it's an amazing one. Next up, we have Holiday Cheer, which got 4,000, and I'm glad it got 4,000. I had such a trouble with this. I was trying to get Jack to work in position. Obviously, I know a lot more about trapping characters now, so I could easily do this, like, better. I got so frustrated on this stream, though, and then it started raining. And obviously in the Frosted Heights, that makes it snow, which is nice. But I basically lost my Mickey Cloud. So you probably can't see it very well here, but you might notice a bit of definition of a line here and a line going off this way. This is actually the Mickey Cloud. So this is the roundness of the head. And then this is the ear. And I had waited patiently for about half an hour for this Mickey Cloud to come into view, and then all the clouds went dark grey and it started snowing, and I was devastated. I took the snap, I left it at that, I accepted it for what it was, but I was so gutted because this shot is a million times darker than what it should be. It should be much brighter, but I pretty much gave up at that point because I was basically running to the castle to set off the fireworks, which we did get. We did get those fireworks, which, you know, I'm kind of happy about. But then I was having to come back here, get Jack into position, pose myself, all before the fireworks stopped going off. So it wasn't fun. Let's just say that. It wasn't fun. So I think this could definitely be improved. I don't think this would be... It would struggle to get 4K these days with how dull it is. Like, it would swing by, I think, on tags. Perhaps, but certainly in terms of votes, I think it would lose out a bit because it's just a bit dull of an image. I like the premise of it. I like the setup. It just... It's because I lost that Mickey Cloud and the lighting. If I hadn't lost that, I think this would have been 10 times better. Next up, we have the Day at Disney challenge, and I do like this one. Again, I struggled with characters and stuff like that. I was trapping them in more, but the boundaries for trapping the characters was a lot larger than what kind of like they should be if you want to keep characters caught. So I had characters back here, I had characters to the side. We did manage to get Wally and Donald. I managed to get the fountain arch in time with the fireworks and the Mickey Cloud. So I was very happy about that and I settled with that. But I was really gutted because the characters just weren't how I wanted them. Sort of knowing what I know now, I think I could do this a little bit better. But I do think this was a fun snap to create. I do like the vibes of it and everything like that. I do believe this was an outfit challenge based on my character's appearance and stuff like that. But I think I could have done better with this one, but it's not bad. Okay, next up we have Out of the Toy Box. Now, this one got rank 43, which is not as high as the Day at Disney, which got rank 26. This was really my, like, strong era here. Like, we had 96 here, we had 100 here, we had 57, we had 26, and then we had 43 here. But Out of the Toy Box, I love this snap. This is definitely one of my favourites. I wanted to kind of give an almost like Jessie vibe with my character. So not 100% Jessie, but kind of that similar aesthetic. This was a decor challenge. I think I had a lot of tags behind the Pizza Planet. I love that we got like the V8 cafe, like garage station kind of thing. We had the Buzz RV, we had the Pizza Planet. I didn't include Woody's carousel because I didn't think it fit with the theme that I was going for, which was supposed to be like this Pizza Planet parking kind of like. I was thinking of like retail parks in kind of like the UK. We often have a bunch of stores, possibly some food areas, and then like you might have across the way a little like petrol station and stuff like that. So that was kind of like the aesthetic there. And sort of harking back to the vibes in the film when they arrive at Pizza Planet and they're in the like car and stuff like that. Like that was kind of like the vibe that I was kind of going for. We did get a Mickey Cloud, which I think that's a lovely looking Mickey Cloud. I love how my character looks. This was not long after the DLC, I think, because obviously we've got the this companion. Obviously the last one was also on Eternity Isle, so again, couldn't have been immediately after, but not long after, I would say. We did get Buzz and Woody. Now that was again a struggle. Just getting Buzz and Woody to look normal was a real struggle. And then I put tons of aliens about because I thought that would be funny. So yeah, I think I'm quite happy with how this turned out. I think this is definitely worthy of 4K. I think it's definitely worthy of a high rank. This is, like I said, is one of my absolute faves. Next up, we have the Winter's Here challenge, and this got rank 60. So another good one. I hate this. I actually don't like this. I think this could be so much better. Like, I see what I'm doing here. I see what I'm doing. I see the vision. I think I was so intent on using a lot of the newer items, but I think I could definitely do this one a lot better these days. I could definitely improve this. This is one that I think I could do better on. I don't know in terms of votes because obviously it depends on how that goes, but I think in terms of like visually appealing, I don't think this is my strongest one. I'm not a big fan of it. I do love how we've got Olaf here. I think that's really cute. I was trying to get Kristoff and I think I was trying to get Anna and Elsa, but I think Anna and Elsa were off the shot this way. You can just about make out Kristoff behind me here. Like, no one else is going to see this, but I knew he was there. And I wanted to kind of make it look like there was deer and stuff like that around. And yeah, I think I could do this one a bit better. Again, this was working with the build that I had. So I had the Frosty Fortress here. I had Anna and Elsa's castle here. I did tear down a few things to kind of get certain things in position and put in like this skating rink thing. But this was a add-on build, and I think if I'd have constructed something from scratch, it would have looked a lot cleaner. Next up, we have the Arendelle Showcase, and this got ranked 203, so another 4K. And I really like this one. I think this is really good. I love the sky. We've got a lovely Mickey Cloud. I like how my character looks. I think she looks adorable. I like the framing with the fountains. I think there's a few things I could do slightly differently, but overall I do quite like this. I think some of the foliage elements here are what throw the shot off. I think I could probably do something a bit better decor wise nowadays, but I love this. I would absolutely do something similar to this if this challenge came up again. I could absolutely see myself doing something very similar. I love this. I love the sky. I think the sky is gorgeous. I love the trees paired with the Arendelle Castle. Yeah, this is a fantastic shot, I think, personally. You can see how it's an add-on because you can still see the Frosty Fortress here. But yeah, I think this is a great snap. I think there are ways you could improve it, but I still think it's a very solid one. Next up, we have the Sports Savvy contest or Dream Snap. And well, this was a bit of an interesting one because this was my lazy week. I was so uninspired this week. I really struggled. I just couldn't get behind the challenge. I struggled to enjoy the theme, the items. So I went for this idea of a person going on a hike. I don't think my tags were maxed out this week. I think they were quite low, to be honest, because I did sacrifice a bunch of tags for a more cohesive outfit. So you can see I've only got shorts on. I don't have a skirt on. Um, I have a long jacket, so I don't have a bracelet. I don't know if my hair even matched the tags at all or anything. Um, so yeah, I just really didn't like this one. We did get a Mickey Cloud, which was cute. We got a fun pose and stuff, but I definitely think this is very lackluster. I don't think this is worthy of 4K. I wouldn't submit something like this and expect 4K. I think I was really shocked when I got the 4K. It's definitely not worthy of it. It's not, and I don't like this snap. I really don't. It's another one of my least favorites, but it had like such minimal effort, so that makes sense. And then next up, we have a snap from my husband. This was the start of the toilet era on the Tanny Games channel. So this snap was actually made by my husband and it did get 4K. So we made this on stream. He did it all himself. He set it up. I did give him a bit of guidance, like telling him about tags. I made him wait for the Mickey Cloud to get in the shot. We managed to get even Wally and stuff, but otherwise he did everything else himself. He did the outfit, he did the placement of the items. Like literally, that's why there's a toilet here. And he managed to get 4K. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it. And I think we placed a bet that if he got 4K with a toilet at the front of the shot, I was going to start using a toilet in my dream snaps, and that's where it all came from. So, because this did get 4K, because people appreciated the toilet, we now have, you know, the toilets. And that's where the space toilet goblin came from. I think that came from Roll Marianne. I think that's what she called Phoebus and stuff like that. But yeah, this I absolutely, in terms of a dream snap, this is horrific. This is terribly done. This is one of those, like, you expect it to get 900. And I think it was at this point that I was, like, pretty certain that tags had an impact, because I was like, there's no way this gets 4K without tags having an impact. So yeah, this was the snap that my husband made and where the toilet saga began. So next up we have the freestyle challenge, and I was so gutted about this one. This one only got 1500. So this was about showing off your like favorite outfit, your favorite sort of aesthetic. And I was gutted. I went for a lot of like fairy inspired outfits. So basically the idea behind this was that it was almost like a seamstress tailor kind of vibe. And that's why we have this person at the front working on this outfit. I leaned into the Cinderella vibes with like a bird helping. All the people in the shop have got wings because we're all magical fairies and stuff like that. We've got all the fabric bits and, you know, all those little items and stuff like that. But this just didn't do very well. And I was so gutted because I absolutely love this snap. Now this snap doesn't have a toilet in it because obviously in terms of like creating this snap was created when we were still voting on the alien one, so I wouldn't know what the results would have been. So that's why this one doesn't have a toilet. Most of the snaps going forward, I think a couple have toilets visible, but I think the rest are kind of hidden. But yeah, this was a cute snap. I wish it did better because I do really like this one. I think it's cute and I'm a bit gutted it didn't do as well as it did. Next up we have Minnie Mouse's Festival of Hearts. Now this got me back to 4K, which I was very happy about. And this was such a struggle. getting the characters to cooperate was a nightmare. That's why we have so much clutter on the floors, because getting characters to stay by their relevant couples was such a struggle. So I basically wanted to create a restaurant kind of setup with all these characters going on their dates. It'd be very, very romantic. You know, it'd be effectively a romance festival. And as per the bet, here is our toilet front and center. Now, I have flipped it around because the idea was to make it look like a seat. Um, but we did manage to get 4K with a toilet front and center, and I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was so surprised. Um, I definitely think I could do this setup a lot better these days. I think it was a fun snap to make. It's not my favorite. I really struggle with like the Mickey and Minnie themed ones regardless. But I think I could do a better date night setup nowadays, and obviously the toilet saga beginning here is just kind of funny and iconic. Next up, we have Savannah Style, and this got ranked 21. And I absolutely love this snap. I love how it turned out. Um, I love the vibes of it. I think this was a really, really good snap. I love how we had Scar here. I did originally want to do something with like Simba and Nala and stuff, but unfortunately, the time that I was taking this snap was the time that they were in the restaurant. And I would say that is maybe one struggle I guess I kind of have as a content creator in a sense. When I do my snaps on stream, if there's characters I want in the snap and they're not available, I just have to rethink my plan. And I guess that's one benefit if you have a lot more free time or do things off camera or maybe at the time of your will, is that you could pick a time when the villagers were around that you wanted. So because I basically couldn't get like the characters I wanted, I had to rethink my snap, and we went for this kind of like darker look or vibe or aesthetic with the character, just to match Scar a bit more kind of thing. That was the idea here. I think in this snap I didn't include a toilet because I think at this point I was like, no, I've done it the once, that's it, I've done it the once. I love Donald here. I think Donald looked amazing. I definitely think in some ways I could do better on this in terms of looks. Um, like as I said, I would love to include Simba and Nala and stuff, but at that point, I just couldn't have them all. It's physically impossible. When they're all kind of like in the restaurant or home at the same time, because I had to drag Scar out the restaurant, so yeah, it was just unfortunate timing. But it is a nice snap. I do like this shot. I think it's kind of cute, and I'm happy with this. I am happy with it, to be fair. Next up, we have the Villainous Lair snap. Now, this was my snap challenge. So, basically, with this snap, I have done this snap twice. I created this snap and I also created one on my husband's account. Now, the one on my husband's account had minimal tags. It pretty much just had what you needed to, like, pass the challenge. It was a little bit higher because I think at one point I had to raise one of the tags, and when I placed down items to match that tag, they also had some of the other categories tags. So it wasn't quite exactly minimum, but it was only over by a couple or so. It wasn't massive. And this was a decor challenge, just to make that clear. It was a decor challenge. So what I tried to do was also do a really basic shot, like a shot that I didn't think was necessarily 4K worthy, nothing with like a wow factor and stuff like that. So I just did the Well of Souls and then my character posing behind it. A lot more foliage kind of decor, and then like Maleficent's throne. That was like it. That was all I did. Obviously changing my character. I love how my character looks here, by the way. I think she looks adorable. Um, but this one, so this was my main account, and this was the one that I dumped a ton of tags into. So it had a lot of hidden tags in the background, but my husband's didn't. And I think my husband had like a 1000 1200 moonstone result or something like this, and mine had 4K. Now admittedly it was a low 4K, but given that this is a very lackluster photo, like I don't think this photo is worthy of 4K, I think it kind of really proved the point of how tags have some sort of impact. What that impact is fully, I don't fully understand. I don't fully know. I don't think we'll ever know. Everything that gets said about tags is literally speculation and just based off of personal research and experimentation. Anyone who comes up with a theory, including me, that's all it's based off of, is experimentation and things like that. The only way you'll know exactly how it works is if you work at Gameloft or someone at Gameloft says. Um, until then, it's all theories. It's all theories. But to me, this kind of like nudged or proved that tags do have some impact, because we had two basically identical. Like, I did everything I could to try and line up things. Like, I was even trying to wait for the right timing for the fog so that it could look pretty identical, and it pretty much was. There is a slight difference, but it's very hard to obviously get the exact fogginess from the Well of Souls kind of thing, because it's like sort of animated. But yeah, that's that's kind of how far I went. So that kind of really sort of proved it to me when there was that kind of big of a difference in the results. But yeah, don't really like this snap. I definitely, appreciate this is an experimental snap. This was never meant to be good. This was never meant to look overly aesthetic. It's not something that, if I was doing the Villainous Lair challenge myself, just for like normal purposes, not for an experimentation, I would do something way better than this. But yeah, this did surprisingly well. Next up, we have the Fur, Feathers and Scales challenge, which did get 4K. I feel like this was worth a higher score of 4K than what it got, but I was still pretty happy. We've got our toilets in the background here. I actually made like a meeting table of toilets. So there's a table here, and then all around it are toilets. There's like 4 toilets here. I love this line in the walkway with the like candy floss and the candy on the flooring. I think the candy on the flooring was actually suggested in the live stream when I made this, and I'm so glad I changed this. Originally, when I took this shot, my character was much closer to the house, and bringing her forward I think really helped. And I definitely like this kind of closer in focus shot. I mean, this isn't very close in, but it's certainly a lot closer than how it was when I was originally taking the shot. So I do like this snap. I think it did reasonably well, and yeah, I don't think I would do much different if faced with this challenge again. Next up, we have the DIY theme park. This was such a stressful challenge. So we do have a bit of a Mickey Cloud. I was annoyed that we lost it. We do have the Ferris wheels. I like the Ferris wheels and stuff like that. I do wonder if I needed a bit more focus on the rides. Like, we've got the Tika, we've got the Dumbo ride, but perhaps I needed something down here instead. I do like how my character looks. I think that was a good choice. Like, the clothing choice is definitely it. I went with this snap purely for Donald. Donald diving there was the reason why I kept this snap. I was so gutted. Kristoff looked horrendous. All my villagers I had trapped were up here. So again, this was kind of experimentation. Experimenting. Yes, experimenting. That's the word I want to use. um, yeah, just experimenting with like trapping villagers in. I definitely think I could do, again, a better job. I would probably block off the bottom of these stairs here so that villagers stayed down in this section, because they just kept wandering off. They did. You wouldn't believe how many villagers I had. Like, we can see Mary, Fairy Godmother and Ursula here. There is Goofy there. There is Beast here. I also had Mike. I had Rapunzel. I had Belle. I think I had Sully too. I think I had Anna and Elsa, I think. I don't know. I just had tons of characters, but none of them are in the shot, and I do wish I had them in the shot. But I think it's not a bad snap. I think it's an enjoyable snap to look at. It's not perfect, but it's all right. Next up, we have Chill Summer, and this got 4K again. And I love this snap. I think the snap for the theme, because like I struggled with the theme, like the whole chill summer vibes. I just like was struggling to kind of implement. But I actually think this turned out really, really well. I love this snap. I love how Olaf looks. We've got Elsa here. There's a few things that maybe I'd do differently. I probably would get rid of the eye spikes. I don't think they're necessary. I might change some of the positioning of certain items. But I absolutely adore how Olaf looks here. I think it's hilarious. And yeah, I don't mind this snap. I think it's quite fun. I think it's quite playful. Next up, we have my ancient aesthetic snap. And I love this snap. I was gutted it didn't do better. I mean, it got 4K, so don't get me wrong. I was very happy with the results. But I just love this. Like, getting to imitate Meg from Hercules was just... It was just the vibes. It was so good. It was so fun. Having all the statues sort of really resembled the theme, the song from Hercules, you know. That was very much the vibe that I was kind of leaning into. I think I probably could do this setup a little bit better. But but I still love this. I think this is a lovely submission. I think it's so cute. I think my character looks great. Um yeah, I don't really dislike this one. I do really, really like it. I do like it. Um I've probably said that 5 times. I like this one. I like this one. Um like I think there's some things I could reposition for a better angle, but overall I think this was a fairly decent submission. Next up, we have my superhero for a day snap, and this one only got 1500, and I was gutted. I was so gutted. I felt like this one deserved more, like especially because like the time I took to get the purple orb around my character from the mirror was a nightmare. It was so stressful trying to get it perfectly aligned, trying to make sure the purple looked fully formed. It was very stressful. I did think this deserved better. For whatever reason, it missed the mark. I don't know if it was just the tags, because like my tags were lower this week. There are a few extra tags. Like I do have like neckwear on. I have got the like the headband and some earrings, but otherwise like there's no like socks, there's no tags from like skirts and shorts, coats and rings and bracelets. I think that's what hurt me this week. But I really wanted to do an incredible shot. I really wanted to do it, and it didn't pay off for me. Now, I know there are people who did the Incredibles outfits, and they did get 4K. So I can't blame it completely, but there was definitely something. There was something. I don't know what it was. I guess maybe this just isn't as good of a shot as I thought it was. Next up, we have the Moana's Village Challenge. I love this one. I thought this was so good. I thought Pua was captured brilliantly. The citrus turtle, we've got Moana here. I do wish Moana was animated, but again, difficulty. She is properly trapped in though. She is properly trapped in. Just sort of like not dancing. I wanted to make it look like we were sat down ready for the banquet and things like that. Moana was going to come and join us. That was kind of the vibes that I wanted to get with this shot. And I do love it. I think this is a good snap. Maybe I'd prefer the positioning a bit different, like the angles. But I think overall, I think this was good. I enjoyed the snap. I think it's a nice looking snap. I think it's very on theme. And like I said, Pua looks adorable, as does the citrus turtle. So next up we have the Monster Sona snap. And I really like this one. I do really like it. I think I lent into the Monster Sona image. We have Donald looking great here. We've got Stitch looking cute. We got Mike, we got Sully. I wonder if the colours are a bit of an issue on this or not, but overall I think this was a fun snap. I really enjoyed making this. I think it was a lot of fun. I really wanted to capture a shot where Sully looked like he was like working at the DJ booth. But seeing Donald positioned the way he was and Stitch, yeah. No, I was happy with this. I think this was a good outcome. And yeah, I think this did quite well. So next up we have In Bloom, which was another 4K win. And I do really like this as well. I wanted to imitate a photo that I had created previously, where I was in a flower of the, not a flower, a field of these glowing flowers. And it just looks so cute. It was a shot I did at night. It was very blue toned. I was in like the blue dress and everything like that. And I just thought it looked beautiful. So I wanted to do something similar. But I worried that the blue tone, like throughout all of it, like if I did a nighttime shot with all the like the blue glow, that maybe it would look a bit too dark. So I did go for something slightly different. I took this shot at sunset. I added the lanterns. I did also use the pink castle to add in that pop of pink colour. And this was my first time experimenting with trying to get that background glow, which it wasn't very successful. I've done it a lot better in the magical theme week that we did recently. But this was my first time trying to experiment with that kind of look, idea, shot, however you want to describe it. But yeah, I do like this snap. It's not fully my favorite because there's certain things about it I don't like. Like if I could have done that fully blue shot, I think I would have preferred it more, but I also think it would have suffered more because I don't think visually it would have been as appealing to voters because it would have lent a little bit too much on the darker side. Okay, next up we have Royal Celebration, which I actually did this snap when I wasn't feeling too great, but I was so happy with it. I think this is stunning. I captured a Mickey cloud, I got a moon, I've got sparkles, the companion looks cute. I mean, my biggest issue with this is the empty space on the right. Now, I did all this decor in the background, which I think looks lovely. I think it looks great. It probably would have looked better if it was a bit closer, a bit more closer in the shot. But I wanted to showcase off the carriage, and then I didn't have anything to put on the parallel side. And I didn't want to do another carriage because I wanted it to make it look like this was Cinderella's carriage, and there's only one of those, it's one of a kind. So I do feel like this empty space is giving a lot of negative energy in the photo. But I think overall, it's a lovely snap. This, I think, is beautiful. I think it's a very stunning submission. I think it could be improved, but I think it was pretty darn good. Next up, we have Top It All Off, which got to rank 41. Eric. Is Eric in the background? He sealed the deal. Now with this, I really wanted to lean into like crazy bird lady vibes. So I went with the bird feathered hat and then a lot of flying birds around. So we got one, two, three of them in shot. But I definitely had more. I definitely had more. So I definitely wanted to make it look like she was, obsessed with birds and things like that. This was definitely an outfit full of tags. That's why it's kind of like a blue outfit, which doesn't match with the hat. But I wanted it to be like a tropical bird of paradise kind of realm and world. That was the vibes I was going for with this snap. Next up, we have the theme park snack bar, and this was one I think I did in a rush. I think this was before my Denmark holiday. I think it was before, yeah. And yeah, I like this. I think it's cute. I definitely think it could be better. But I think given the rush I was in and stuff like that, I think this turned out all right in the end. But like I said, I do think I could do this much better. I think I could elevate this snap. But overall, I think it's really cute. I love how the characters look. You know, we've got Minnie here, Daisy, Mickey, Donald. We have the little popcorn squirrel. I was trying to get it to look like he was pooping in the popcorn bucket with the popcorns, but I couldn't time it right with all the characters, unfortunately. But overall, I do really like this snap. Next up, we have the Luxe Look Challenge. I got ranked 37 for this. And yeah, I like this. Like, it's not my favourite snap aesthetically, but I think it definitely shines in terms of like the gold aesthetic. It definitely does feel very luxe. I definitely think that. So I think it did well in that aspect. I do love how we've got Scrooge here, all the piles of gold, all the fireworks. I think this was my first experimentation with the fireworks. So yeah, it's not too bad. It could be better, but I think this is actually alright. I think it deserved 4K. I'm not sure it deserved as high as it got, but it certainly deserved 4K. Now we're getting down to it, the last few. So next up we have Treasure Trove, which was another 4K, but I like this one so much more than the previous one. I love the Mickey Cloud. I think the Mickey Cloud looks great. We've got Donald here diving into the gold. We've got Daisy. I love how my character looks. I love the pile of treasures. I tried to make it feel a bit more secretive by doing this like tropical backdrop. Just to kind of make it feel like this area was hidden. And although this was on the Skull Rock Island, I didn't want to actually feature Skull Rock. I wanted it to feel like a different world, like a different hidden away location. That was kind of the vibes I was trying to go for. I do really love this shot. I think it's a really good shot. I think it's a good submission. I think it's definitely worthy of 4K, and I don't think I would do much differently with this snap if I were to redo it. Next up we have Cooking with Friends, and this was a bit of a joke snap. So we are cooking up Hey Hey here. He's in just look at him in the flames there. That's just hilarious. I honestly can't get over it. I just think it's so funny. We have Pua here. I think Pua looks adorable. We have the toilet. The toilet was requested. Usually I hide it in the background, but this one it was a bit clear. And then we got Moana here watching on as we cook up her friends. Honestly, this was fun to do. It was the laugh that I needed with Dream Snaps. I think sometimes you just get a bit burnt out, and I was definitely feeling it. But this was like a week where I could kind of have fun, and I wasn't too worried about not getting 4K. I kind of expected to miss the mark this week because of the theming that I went with. I didn't think people would want to vote for cooking up Hey Hey and Pua, but apparently they did. Apparently they really enjoyed that. But it was a fun week. It was a nice sort of break from serious dedication to Dream Snaps. Next up we have the Dreamlight Market. So this was my redemption for the fun with fall, and I think I did do it. I do think it wasn't quite as fall heavy as I was originally planning, but I think it turned out alright. We've got our toilet here as well. But yeah, I love this. I think this is funny. You know, there was a story I wanted to tell of picking out the croc from the fruit. That was kind of the vibes I wanted to give. So there was a lot of staging that I did that got cut from the shot because I zoomed in a bit more to the croc, which I think did like lose some of the aesthetic looking vibes, but I think it was worthwhile. I think it paid off because I think this is a cute snap. I really like this snap. I don't think there's much I would do differently if I was going with this story again. I could definitely do a more fall orientated snap. And obviously all the blobfish was just for blobs here. Usually I wouldn't do that, but I bow to the requests of the viewers. And yeah, we ended up going for that in the end. And obviously now the red stall is fixed, so I could have put items on this stall. but at that time I couldn't. Next up we have Sugary Style, and I like it, it's just not perfect. I had issues with symmetry because of the river in the Forest of Valor. I don't feel it's decorated as well as it could have been. I feel it's very, very simple, but this was the point where we were having items disappearing if the camera angle clipped into them. So that provided a massive, massive struggle, but I did try and use it to my advantage, creating this kind of like rainbow backdrop for the shot. So maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, I don't know. It's definitely not one of my favorite ones. I think this is a lower quality snap from me for sure. Next up we have the Stitchable Fashion Challenge. Now, I haven't put my results in for these. Stitchable Fashion got 4K. Dreamlight Art Gallery got like 1200 or something. It didn't get 4K, but the Timeless Magical Style has got 4K because that's what we've just got our results on today. So just to kind of make you aware of the results. So this was my Stitchable Fashion Challenge. I think it was alright. I think it was decent. I don't like the framing of the shot. I think the framing of the shot feels off. I love that we've got a Mickey Cloud. I think Stitch looks adorable here. I like the outfit. I think the outfit is good. It definitely leans into the Stitch vibes, which is what I wanted. But I do feel like I could do this setup probably slightly better, and it's probably very simple compared to some of my other dream snaps. So then this was my Dreamlight Art Gallery, and I was actually really gutted that this didn't get 4K. I thought it would. I genuinely thought this would get 4K. I loved how I created like an indoor snap that was made outdoor. I thought the vibes on that were really good. I think the big issue with this week for me was the lack of actual art. I think I really needed some like art hanging wall pieces or something, or maybe I just needed more statues because I haven't got many of them. Maybe if I had a ton of like Eric statues or like Maui statues or whatever, maybe this would have worked out a bit better. So yeah, I was kind of disappointed. I'm not gonna lie, I am still very, very disappointed in this. Like, result wise, I think it maybe deserved a little better. But I can also see why it suffered for sure. I can definitely see why. I think it needed those hanging art pieces, or it just needed a bit more presence in terms of the statues, rather than like some of the more maybe museums inspired pieces. Like maybe it just leans a bit too museum rather than art gallery. Next up we have the Timeless Magical Style, and I love this snap. This is definitely up there with my favorites. I love the magical theme, aesthetic vibe, dream snap challenges. I love them. I adore them. I'm excited for Halloween to kind of lean into those kind of like perhaps fairy witchy vibes. I think it's going to be so much fun. I do really like this snap. I don't know what to say. Like, I think this is a really solid snap. I think it definitely deserved 4K. I love the vibes of it. I think I did really well with the like the white like glow in the background. Yeah, I like this one. I'm not gonna I don't think I can really comment and say anything else, because I think this is a solid snap and I think it got the result that it absolutely deserved. And then for our year celebration, we have this snap, my Dream Snap Celebration snap. Now, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. Simba here ruins the shot. Sully looking that way. Minnie and Mulan looking that way too also ruin it. I think they ruin it. They ruin it. But I think there's a lot of aspects I love. I love how my character looks here with Wally in front. Rapunzel being on her easel doesn't bother me. I like the idea that maybe she's painting this party. You know, the backdrop, I couldn't quite get it the way I was envisioning it. Like, originally I had plans for the like Dreamlight Park houses to create a Bridgerton like inspired house look, and then have the balloons behind that for a pop of colour, with then the fireworks and then the Dreamsnap trophies and all the villagers in a line. That was originally my plan. And it didn't work. It didn't work. But I absolutely adore how my character looks here. I love how Wally looks here. And for me, that's what makes this like a winning shot. Like, not winning as in first place, I mean like a 4K win. I think this definitely deserves 4K. If this doesn't get 4K, I will be so sad. I don't mean to kind of sound like, maybe I sound a bit like arrogant to kind of be like, oh yeah, this is like a 4K worthy shot, but I do think this is 4K worthy. I think this is a beautiful shot. I think my character looks lovely. I know her eyes are closed, but I feel like it's worthwhile for the shot. Like, the kind of expression that she's doing, I think makes it make sense. And I think Wally just looks perfect here. I mean, if anyone can look at Wally like this and not vote for him, they don't deserve to be around. they can get off this game. They don't deserve to play Dreamlight Valley. I'm kidding. But, like, seriously, I love this shot. This is definitely sort of one of my favourites. I think if Simba, Sully, Mulan and Minnie had cooperated, if all the villagers were looking towards the screen, which, by the way, Jack is here. He's in this shot somewhere. But I think if I'd have got him looking the right way, this would have been my favourite shot, hands down. Without a shadow of a doubt, this would have been my favourite shot. Like, absolutely. If I could Photoshop, like, Simba out of here and change Sully and Mulan and Minnie, perfect. Absolutely perfect. I do really like this shot, and I think sometimes you've got to have confidence and faith in your submissions. You've got to love them, because at the end of the day, they're your creations, they're your dream snaps, and I think so long as they make you happy, that's the main thing. Well, there you go. That's all my Dreamsnap submissions. Oh my god, I've been recording for so long and my throat is so dry. Oh my god, I didn't expect it to be this long. I do apologise. But hopefully you enjoyed this look back on all my Dreamsnaps. I want to say here's to another year of Dreamsnaps. I'm so excited for the year going forward, for the future of Disney Dreamlight Valley. I absolutely adore this game. I may complain, I may have issues with it. I know it's not perfect. I know there's problems with this game, but hand on heart, this is absolutely one of my favourite games. I adore it. It brings me so much joy, and like, I did get really invested in this game. Like, I was playing this game before my dad passed away, but after he passed away, I pretty much committed to this game and cozy gaming. I couldn't tolerate horror games anymore. I lost a major part of my personality when my dad passed away, and this game gave me comfort. It really did give me comfort, and I know it's probably sad and pathetic and stuff like that, but it really provided a place of comfort for me. It really, yeah, it was a good distraction in my life. It helped me survive that first year after he passed away and stuff like that. And I think for that reason, this game means an awful lot to me. I mean, that, and obviously my love for Disney. I'm a huge Disney fan regardless. But I just think it did. This game and Disney Dreamlight Valley really became a home when I felt like I lost mine. So I love this game. I always will, and I hope there's a long and bright future ahead for Disney Dreamlight Valley. And I am so sorry for getting emotional. That is incredibly unprofessional. And you're all probably thinking, who is this idiot? um, but regardless of me getting emotional, I truly love this game and I'm so excited for the next year of Dreamsnaps, the next year of Dreamlight Valley, and everything that's to come. So, thank you, Disney Dreamlight Valley. And I hope you all enjoyed this video and this look back on the history of Dreamsnaps, at least my history of Dreamsnaps. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Do take care of yourselves, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys!